watching Superskum.com. I'm Carlos Reale, and here we are with Aaron from Paradise Lost. Thank you so much, man, for giving us a little bit of your time.
It's an absolute pleasure.
And we're going to just bug you with a few questions before they come yell at us. Tragic Idol, the 13th studio album, basically, released this last April. And then you've been sharing the stage with Catatonia and Devin, of course, and also Stolen Babies, I think.
Yeah, but they're not playing today, though.
They're not playing today?
Today's
okay.
the first day they're not playing. But.
And you're doing this Epic Kings and Idols North American tour, basically. It's good to see you back in the U.S.
Yeah, it's nice to be.
How's the experience so far, midway through the tour, for you guys?
You know what? It's been even better than we hoped it would. I mean, especially when you're early on in the bill. You're not sure how many people are going to be there, but the halls have actually been at capacity pretty much when we've gone on every night. So it's been really cool, and I think we're winning some friends over as well. I mean, it's cool touring with Catatonia and Devin people because we're friends anyway. So it's kind of a really nice, relaxed, chill tour, good atmosphere. No bad eggs, you know what I mean? It's really cool, and the audiences have been absolutely killer. Our most successful US tour, to be fair. I mean, it's been wonderful.
Great, and you have once again, even though Adrian joined the ranks of the band in 2009, this is the first studio album that he released with you guys. Right, Basic Adrian is very famous drummer, of course. He
prolific, yes.
Arch Enemy's drummer is his younger brother, of course, as well. He played with At the Gates, you named The Haunted. How was this first experience with Adrian in the studio?
Phenomenal. I mean, it's been good as well because Adrian's been. If to be honest, when we auditioned him just after we recorded Faith Divides Us, it was literally we played like one song. It's like he's in, isn't he? He's great. He'd worked really hard. He's known PL's music for a long time. He's been into our music for a long time, and he works. He's one of the hardest working drummers I've ever met. He's a real perfectionist, and it was like literally the rehearsal there, and then obviously he's been touring with us for a few years. So the studio, he was nailed on, and some of the drum fills he did are phenomenal. I absolutely love his drumming. So, and as a character, he's just fitting completely with our sense of humour, which is the main thing that keeps us together anyway. So,
Yeah, you might add that the four of you have been together since 1988 and still remain here. You just had a few drummers, if you will, throughout the story, but it's nice to see that a band, which is very rare nowadays, still together after all these years.
We were friends before we were in a band. Greg was in the next classroom to me when I was 11. I used to go riding my BMX bike with Nick when I was 12, and I've just known them all for years. So it's built on friendship before music, and then music and friendship together have helped what kept the band going forward.
That's good. Something when I was I've always read about you guys. I'm a fan of the band. You've had a particular following, if you will, local support and following, if you will, in the UK, being a British band, compared to Germany, which is, for example, a market that you just dominate over and over again. Other European markets as well. The UK is lagging a little bit in for example, album chart positions and sales. What do you think is that, considering you are from there?
I don't know. I think, sometimes with the way the press is in England in general, or Britain in general, and not just for music but for everything, it's almost like big something up, big something up, big something, all right, drop them next. And it's very much a culture of that, whereas I think Britain's one of the only places that really does it to that degree. But saying that, we did our longest ever tour of the UK for Tragic Idol, and we were like, oh God, 2 weeks in the UK. who's gonna be there? But every night, we were actually proved. Our agent proved us wrong, because it was a really successful tour. So, no, it's been really good. I filled out my US visa form to come up for this tour. One of the questions is, name all the countries you've been to in the last 5 years. It's like, oh, good grief. And I thought, right, I'm going to do it anyway, because I know the rest of the lads won't bother. So I did it, and it was 42 different countries in the last 5 years alone, touring. So it's pretty cool, really. We get around quite a lot,
And it is true. You have a very good tour following and touring presence in the UK. Of course, you do a lot of dates over there. I got you toured with everybody pretty much, but right now, as far as North America, more specifically the States, I saw you 2003. You were here in Boulder. You were supporting Opeth. You were also supporting Nightwish then in 2007. I saw you in Albuquerque, New Mexico, because you didn't get to come to Colorado. But now you're here the third time. But you have been depraving American fans of a full set, of a headlining set. Why do you think has been the case? What can you attribute that to, as far as not being able to come here to the U.S. market and headline a tour?
I think, we had a problem with the record company in the mid-90s. I mean, when we were about to release Draconian Times, we were on Relativity at the time. I think it was literally a week or two before the album came out. Relativity decided to drop all their rock acts. Us, Steve Vai, I think, I can't remember who else were on. And then it was like there's no backup for a tour. So even though we'd done a lot of press for the US at the time, and then it sort of once we got on the majors didn't, once we were on EMI and it was Sony, BMG over here after that, they just didn't seem that interested. I mean, Century Media have been a lot better at trying to help us get over to the US, but with the illegal download market, there's a lot less money we can coming in that we can invest, because it costs us quite a lot of money to come to the US, especially if we want to do our own tour. We'd really it costs us a fortune.
And the currency exchange is also
and it's just we're trying hard to get here more often, and we've enjoyed this one so much. You never know. Hopefully, if people are liking it enough, hopefully one day we can do our own tour. I mean, we've had this has been our best reaction so far. So it would be good to build on it. I think the bill's been better for us this time as well. But I bumped into people the other night who said they saw us with Nightwish, never heard us before that, and they came to the show that night to see us again. And so we're winning new friends slowly, but hopefully, we can come back,
Which is good and well deserved. I mean, you have a very extensive career, of course, and a very influential one. And at the same time, speaking of that influence, what do you think for Paradise Lost, or yourself as an active member of Paradise Lost, feels to be correctly and positively labeled, the pioneers of Gothic metal? I mean, the genre came even about after you released 1991's Gothic album. So what does it feel? Because you are credited with that, rightfully so.
I don't know. I think I'll tell you what I find incredibly humbling is, and obviously the biggest compliment you can ever get, if somebody listens to your music and are inspired enough to either pick up their own instrument or start their own band, even if it sounds nothing like you, if you put that that spark in there for that impetus to start making music, that's the biggest compliment you can ever have. Whether we did actually start the genre of Gothic, I mean, we're heavily credited with it, but there's a lot of other Gothic metal bands as well that have done very well. But yeah, we get, I mean, mainly because the album was called Gothic, I think, and it sort of had the Gothic overtones. But it's quite humbling if people like that, Pretty cool.
Well, as humble as you want to be, it's true, and but thank you for being humble about it, and still, being an influence, of course, in the genre. What do you think is the current state of Gothic metal right now, for example?
Well, there seems to be quite a lot of bands diversifying. I mean, some bands are going slightly more acoustic, some are going more orchestral. Then you obviously have some that have like a male singer that growls and a female singer, or a female singer that growls and sings, So it's diversifying quite well at the minute. There's a lot of good bands come out of the scene from years ago, You've got bands like Anathema, you've got My Dying Bride, you've got, I mean, The Gathering, they've got a really big success in Europe as well, So we've had so many of the bands from Finland supporting us over the years. I think we might as well be honorary Finnish, I think, in some ways. But we've always had a great time with bands like 69 Eyes, and we've just had Swallow the Sun supporting us, and Insomnium, two more Finnish bands. So there's a really cool scene up there as well in Finland. They love it up there. So.
No, that's very good, and you're actually huge Type O Negative fans and friends as well. It's unfortunately what happened, of course, Peter, but you opened for them in the UK a few times as well, so you were able to share the stage.
We've played with them a number of times over the years. I mean, we co-headlined the Dynamo Festival with Type O in 1995, and that was to 140,000 people.
Wow.
Pretty special evening. So I mean, we've known those guys for long. I mean, they made awesome music, and he's very sad to hear, But the music is still there,
And you have a very diverse, music history in the band as well. You're going from, all the way from Lost Paradise to 1 Second to Symbol of Life, basically right now with Tragic Idol. How do you think, and I know this is a very extensive, intrinsic question, but how do you think basically the band has evolved over its career? Like main points, what do you consider the turning points of the band, if you will?
I think they almost go in 2 album cycles. I mean, the first 2 albums, then you've got Icon and Drac Times that live together. You've got 1 Second and Host, which are quite diverse. And then I think Believe in Nothing and Symbol of Life, we're trying almost to sort of find where we want to be. I think if we'd have... we toured really heavily for Icon. We didn't, and then we had a few months to do Draconian Times, and then we basically went on tour for 2 years. And I think after like that 4-year block of doing the twin guitar thing, I think we just needed to do something different, and that's why 1 Second and eventually Host were born out. I think if we'd have done 8 Draconian Times albums, I think we'd have split up. I think what you need to do sometimes is like literally go so far left wing that you almost come back to what you love, once you've gone out there, but without trying something new. It's quite different, and it doesn't sound like there's a lot of guitars on the Host album, for instance. But I spent a lot of time making guitars sound like keyboard effects that Greg were writing, because I said, no, I can do that on a guitar, and it's like, and it was a very interesting album to record. It's probably our darkest, most miserable album to say. It's got the least guitar. It's a really dark album, really. But I think you need sometimes you need to diversify, to find where your heart sits, and they're all snapshots from what we wanted to do at that time. We never plan ahead. We treat every album like it's our first album, but we always try to do a better one than the last one if we can. But that's all you can do.
So in the same vein, where do you see the band heading into the future musically?
Like I say, we don't plan. Literally now we've been spent most of the year away from home touring. We've got quite a bit more to do this year. I'm not sure we've got to try and put some plans together. It's our 25th anniversary next year.
Yes, it is.
So we've had the first email with a suggestion today, which I'm not going to reveal because some people are like,
Oh, that's my next question. It's right here. Seriously.
No. We've been thinking, we haven't thought of anything yet, and it's only like half a year away or something. But yeah, now we're starting to put plans in place and make discussions for doing something. Even if it just ends up with the 5 of us being in a pub getting drunk. But I think we'll do.
It's still a celebration. It's still a celebration.
I think we will do. We will have to do something. I think it'd be nice, to
Would you like just more of a tour? Oh, do you want to do the Jubilee?
I don't know. I just remember the Silver Jubilee for the Queen when I was a kid, so it always reminds me of 25 years when I think of that. But I don't know. Well, we'll try and make something nice if we do a tour or a show in particular.
And any other future plans for the band, basically? Ready thinking of writing, any new material? And I know it just came out, but...
I don't know. I suppose the end of next year we'll start writing a new album, probably. I can imagine that... Well, we've got pretty much all this year sorted. I've got some time in November off to remind my wife what I look like, which would be nice. But before that, we've literally got 5 days at home after the US tour. Then we've got to finish off the second part of the European tour. We've got Barge from Hell, which sails out of Miami in December. Then we're going straight to South America, and then we come back from South America for 2 days, and we're going to Israel, and we're back just in time for Christmas.
Oh, that's a lot of touring. Congratulations on that. Basically,
like I say, we get about air miles are piling up nicely.
When's the South American tour happening?
Straight after the Barge from Hell, so it's going to be the middle.
In January?
Middle of December.
Oh, okay, in December actually.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, it's 70,000 tons of metal and Barge from Hell. It's easy to get mixed up.
Looking forward to that experience.
It's going to be interesting. The good thing about it is there's so many bands that we know. I treat festivals like heavy metal social clubs. It's just how you bump into all the friends in bands you've got, So I know the Napalm guys are going to be there. The At the Gates lads, COC are friends of mine as well. So it's going to be nice. It's going to be
like a metal conference.
It is. It's like an old people's home for old rockers. It's like it should be pretty good. I'm quite lucky for that reason alone. It's nice. You can sit and chill out with your friends and enjoy the music as well. Should be cool.
And drink a lot and don't get too sick. And
I might have an ale. Yes, a light ale or something.
Perfect. Well, we always like to end, with you. If you any words to your fans that you would like to say, feel free to do so.
I would like to thank anybody who's supported us, even though we haven't come over that often. But people have come out to see us at these shows, and people who don't maybe know us have come to see us, have given us a chance and formed their own opinion. I'd like to thank anybody who's given us that chance, and hopefully, if you haven't heard us, give the new album Tragic Idol a go. I think it's brilliant. I'm seriously biased, but it is very good.
It is. Actually is. Thank you, Aaron. We really appreciate your time, man. Thank you for giving us your time.
Of the days when I march